Practice, Vikings running back Dalvin Cook told me, "I'm ready to go on Sunday in a wild card playoff against the Saints." Cook hasn't carried a full load since he first suffered an SC joint sprain back in mid-November, and he missed the Vikings' last two games after also banging up one of his shoulders. Now Cook said, "I've had about 3 weeks of rest. I've been hitting it in treatment real hard and hitting it in this thing back rolling." All-Pro linebacker Eric Kendricks also set to return Sunday after dealing with a quadriceps injury. Biggest health issue for Minnesota, their top two nickel cornerbacks are out. That could mean more work for safety J-Ron Curse against Saints star Michael Thomas, who has 53 catches this season from the slot. Asked for his level of confidence in others to pick up the slack, Coach Mike Zimmer said, "We will find a way."
Tom P, good stuff. And speaking of Mike Zimmer, the Minnesota Vikings 1-2 in the postseason in the Mike Zimmer era. So as we know, the Saints are rolling out that black and gold carpet for the Vikings on Sunday in the early game at the Dome. So when it comes to a matchup that you're looking for, we talked about some of the earlier games, but which one's piquing your interest right here, TD?
Listen, I know everybody wants to look at this game with the Vikings and the Saints, and they want to go with all over the place. To me, it's only one person that has to play well for their team to win. It's Kirk Cousins. I mean, I'm going
Minnesota
there.
Vikings fans just took a sigh of
Well, but he
fear.
Listen, Dalvin Cook, I think he's playing. Even if he plays well, which he did, let's go back to week number 2. They played the Green Bay Packers. Dalvin Cook had his best game of the season. They still lost that game because there's plays in that game that Kirk Cousins had to make, right? He didn't make them. Third down, he was 5 of 12. They only completed 3 of those for first downs. His passer rating was 63.5. And in a game like this, what's going to happen is Dalvin Cook on first and second down, Joe, you know this, sometimes you're going to lose those downs. You're going to be in third and long. That's when Cousins has to perform. That's what they're paying him that money for. Not to run an offense where you have 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1. No, we want you in 3rd and long, move the chains. He's going to be asked to make some plays. If he doesn't make those plays in a game like this, you got to score more than 30 points against the Saints in that dome to win that game. Kirk has to make some plays.
Yeah, Kirk right now is a wreck from a confidence standpoint, which is totally the opposite.
He's a wreck from a confidence standpoint?
Yeah, because he was playing poor at the beginning of the season. It was in his head. He was rattled. All of a sudden, they came out of it. Then he went through this long stretch where people were saying, like, he might be an MVP right now. They look great. But then Kirk's the type of guy that he hears everything that people are saying about you can't win the big game. You can't do it when the pressure's on you. And there's going to be no more pressure than he's ever seen in his career than this weekend. Like you said, these wild card playoff weekend games, they always come down to a play here and there. Yeah. And usually it's your quarterback making it on those 3rd and 8s. And right now, after what we've seen from Kirk Cousins in December, he just looks rattled, like he doesn't have it. He doesn't believe in himself because he's let all those things that people have said about him get into his head.
What about his defense? Because they have a matchup against Drew Brees coming off the best December that a quarterback has ever had.
I mean, that's a good matchup
in the Super Bowl era. They haven't been great so far this year, though. They've been good. Not great. They're going to have to be great to beat Drew Brees, right?
Drew Brees, I think the last 6 games, they've been north of 30. They are putting points on the board. I don't care what team they're playing. So if you go into that game, if you're Mike Zimmer, you have to think that we have to put points on the board. Our defense might make a play here and there, but we have to score some points. We can't expect our defense to keep this team in their own building with Drew Brees and the way they've been playing lately under 30 points.
You're just assuming they're going to put up points, and we just have to also.
We got to match it.
And Kirk Cousins and that Minnesota Vikings offense, they play the best when they know it's going to be a close game where they can run the football, they can throw the play action and take deep shots off of that. But if it becomes one of these games where you get behind early and all of a sudden it's Kirk Cousins stand back in the pocket, has to throw us back in and win the game, we know he'll probably put up a lot of numbers in those situations, but he doesn't usually win those games.
Yeah, since week 14, you see in the bottom line, there are 15 passing touchdowns for Drew Brees, and those Saints, they are playing at an unbelievable clip. So you know what time it is. Who wins this one?
I'm going with the Saints. I mean, I picked the Vikings to win the Super Bowl.
Say that again?
Many years ago. But I got to go with the Saints winning this one, 34-28, and it hurts me, but they're just playing really good football. And Dalvin Cook, I don't know how long. I know he said he's healthy, but that shoulder, if he gets that banged up again, will he stay in that game?
Yeah, Saints 35-31. It's going to be one of these games where Kirk Cousins, hopefully he's on your fantasy team because he's going to have a lot of yards, but he won't be able to do enough to win the game.
Joe,
you don't play fantasy.
They're playing fantasy now?
It's done.
Playoff fantasy.
It's over with.
It's done.
I'm starting my own playoff fantasy league, and I'm going to invite all of you guys.
Okay. Well, the Vikings, they've won 3 of the last 4 playoff meetings and 2 of the last 3 meetings in general versus the Saints. So there's that. Now, still to come. Right, what are you looking at, man?
Well, I think most people will be looking at Drew Davis, White, and DeAndre Hopkins. That's kind of the sexy matchup there. But on the other side of the field, there's got to be a playmaker for the Houston Texans in order for them to win this game. Okay. And it's got to be Kenny Stills. Fuller's going to be out, as we heard. So when they're functioning well, this offense has to have that number 2 wide receiver. And Kenny Stills has really been good, 40 receptions this season. But I think in a game like this, he's going to have to elevate his play, because we know how the Bills are. They're very stingy against running backs, tight ends, and receivers. And a game like this is going to come down to your number 2 guys, your role players. And to me, he's the one to watch out for. If he has a big game, which hopefully he will, I think the Texans have a really good shot at winning this game.
He's going to need to be the difference maker. Like you said, those number 2 wide receivers always all important, especially in that second season. But, Joe, when it comes to matchups for you, what are you watching for, man?
Yeah, I'm watching this Buffalo Bills defense and how they defend the dual-threat quarterbacks. They did a great job early on in the season against Lamar Jackson, and I think they can do a great job against Deshaun Watson. It's all about discipline and assignment when you're dealing with dual-threat quarterbacks. Here against the run, they're teaching their defensive ends to keep their outside arm free and to be able to funnel the quarterback back into your buddies that are inside. Here they've got Micah Hyde at safety, who's shadowing or spying on Lamar Jackson. And once Shaq Lawson's able to slow Lamar Jackson up, that's when the cavalry comes, and Buffalo Bills play great team defense. Here they are in passing situations, and what they want to do is kind of constrict the pocket like a vice. You don't want to let Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson, in the case on Saturday, to get outside the pocket, to break contain, because that's where he's making the big plays. So they're teaching their defensive ends, get upfield to the level of the quarterback, and then squeeze down from the outside. Don't run past the quarterback. Up front, they're going to twist those defensive linemen to take away some of those initial rushing lanes and some of those passing lanes to force a throwaway from Lamar Jackson there. So they've got the right formula to be able to stop that dual-threat quarterback.
Take some discipline, too, on that
one.
Discipline and assignment.
We know he's a disciplined kind of guy, former high school wrestler, so that defense are going to have to pin their ears back, because Buffalo 1-4 versus teams in 2019 to make the postseason. So do whatever you want to do with that little piece of knowledge while you're friends at the water cooler or whatever. But when it comes to game picks, TD, I'll let you go first. Who are you picking to win this one, man?
I have the Texans winning this game, 20-14.
Wow.
And I talked about it. I think in a game like this, that Deshaun Watson, he's 5-0 against teams, I believe, are 500, and he's a big game, quarterback. So I'm going with the Houston Texans.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah, if Will Fuller played, it would be a different story. I think the Texans would win, but without Will Fuller, they're just a different offense. They average less than 7 points when Will Fuller is not out there. Less than 7 points per game when he's not out there. So the Bills win 17-13.
I just said, Kenny Stills going to step up. You didn't hear me?
I said Buffalo was 1-4 versus
I'm not believing
2019
it.
postseason
I'm not
teams.
buying it.
Houston 3-3 versus teams that are in the postseason this season. We'll see.
Wild Card Weekend continues Saturday night in Foxborough when the Tennessee Titans visit the New England Patriots. And the Patriots have had an offense that has struggled all year long. And one thing Mike Vrabel knows, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, that the Patriots offense goes through Julian Edelman. And when you take Edelman away, it presents issues like it did last week, week 17 against the Dolphins. The Dolphins doubled Edelman everywhere he went, held him to 3 catches, made Brady go elsewhere with the ball, and everybody else, including Philip Dorsett, has struggled to be a consistent performer. So the Patriots, they rely on trickery. Right here, Landon Roberts is a linebacker lined up at fullback. He played 3 snaps of fullback. They hadn't thrown to him all year long. But that 38-yard touchdown against the Dolphins tied that score up 17-17. But it has been going on for weeks now. Sorcery, trickeration. Here, the throwback, James White, back to Tom Brady. Gets the Kansas City Chiefs to all bite on the run. And Tom Brady gets the ball out of his hands to his favorite target, Julian Edelman, for the opening score of the game. And if you go back before that to the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe the best pass all day was by Julian Edelman. And he throws it here to Philip Dorsett in the end zone, and the Eagles don't defend it. The go-ahead touchdown against the Eagles. The New England Patriots have archives of tricks, and they're going to bring them out. And Tennessee has got to be prepared for something that they haven't seen all year, because the Patriots are going to try it. They need to jumpstart this offense, and these tricks do it. And those are
it's like before it happened.
The preemptive shot.
You know what? It would be the most Patriots thing ever. Lose this game, and then just like you would love it, Greg. All right, well, that's it for us. Enjoy the games this weekend. We will see you again next Friday on NFL.com and the NFL Network.
They're getting the field ready in Houston, almost set for the first game action of 2020. Texans, Bills, the first of 4 wildcard games coming up this weekend, kicking off the second season with the defending champs in the mix. We haven't seen the Patriots play this early since 2009. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to NFL Total Access with everything you need to know about those games. I'm Lindsay Rhodes. He's Cole Wright.
Both facts and also factual information. TD and Joe Thomas are going to join us in just a second. Also coming your way, 5 newcomers to this 12-team soiree that we call the playoffs. But despite that postseason buzz, we're going to begin this show in Dallas and check in with our guy, Rap Sheet. You know him as Ian Rappaport. He's here with the very latest out of the Star down there in Dallas. And Ian, we're all here on pins and needles on Jason Garrett watch. So what more can you tell us about it?
Well, today, nothing happened. Literally nothing happened. Jerry Jones was inside the building, back from a couple days away. Stephen Jones